Question: when you've got receipts, like, what more do you need? I mean, I'm just asking for a friend. So shout out to Katie's husband with that alley oop when he came through with the receipts, okay? And then I said, not Tamara coming to the rescue in some way at the end. Oh my gosh. Like, and me having to have to give her a little pass. I said, Lord, what is going on here? While I still don't fool with you, Tamara, I definitely saw you and I heard what you said. And then the fact that Katie has officially at this point been iced out by the ladies and they're on cloud nine about it. Diabolical. But y'all already know we're going to get into the things of the things. So, what is going on, y'all? It's your girl, Taina B here, and welcome to my chat party. If you could join me for a little bit, a lot of it, fashionably early, fashionably late, to hear my little thoughts, my little views, my little opinions, all fun, some facts on the Real Housewives of Orange County, season 19, episode number 9. I appreciate you so much from the bottom of my heart. Please understand that I do. For those of you who definitely showed out on my dance floor in the last video with your comments, doing your two-step, your break dancing, your twirls, your swirls, your twists, your turns, like I was here for it all. And I appreciate y'all. For those of you guys who subscribed to allow the guest list to keep guest listing. I mean, how much more bomb can you be? Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. For those of you who hit the thumbs up button and who just stopped by for your viewership, I truly appreciate it. You definitely know I'm going to have to shout you guys out at the end of my video. A, because some of y'all are like, look, girl, we ain't come here for all of that. Go ahead and get to the point. And B, because you know I love to save the best for last. So let's go ahead and get into this stuff, okay? And when I tell you I thoroughly enjoyed this episode, I feel like it gave, and I hope you guys feel the same too. It was a good one. So we start off with Emily and Gretchen meeting at like some type of treatment place to get an injection, of course, as it relates to beauty. And I'm like, because that's what they're going to do in Orange County. If they don't do anything else, they're going to keep that going for sure. And I'm like, well, thank goodness, though, at least we're starting here because I would have preferred not to start where we left off back at Emily's house. And I was kind of sitting looking at the TV once the intro of the show came in. I'm like, please, let's not. And so I was like, oh gosh, whew, okay, good. Thank you to production for allowing this to be a brand new day where we start fresh because that was pretty intense to just pick back up from there. And now, Emily, while you're having your conversation with Gretchen, you say that you hope Katie's gone for good, but Tamara's done way more and walks around acting like the devil that she is, but you want her to stay and work on her relationship with Gretchen? And we ain't going to talk about, even in this situation, how something criminally allegedly could have happened that night with Gretchen, right? In Tamara's presence, Tamara's playing her idea, at least partially, co-conspirator in this thing, allegedly. And the fact that, again, there was more to come from that, possibly with stuff being in her system, but yet and still we want to focus on Katie, who just shared what was disclosed. Like, I don't understand. Okay. And I know people gonna be like, no, 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 it's the fact that Katie's a liar. No, no, no. But let's keep this isolated right here, though. I don't understand what Tamara even did in this instance as it relates to this subject matter was far worse. But we want to keep Tamara around. Okay, Emily, let's go ahead and fast forward. So now we have Katie and Jen who decide to meet to have a little snack for coffee, muffins, tea, whatever it was. And of course, they hop into the conversation of everything that happened at Emily's house. And I said, no, Jen, it's not that you don't know what the Katie's talking about. You just don't want her dragging you into the thing so you can catch the heat too. Like you want her to go down by her own self as her own sinking ship. All right. You said, I ain't helping with nothing. I ain't throwing you no life float. I ain't sending no help. I ain't going to give you no anchor like you're on your own. And I believe Jen knows exactly what Katie's talking about. And that whole woe is me will not work in my eyes any longer because it's like, Jen, you're just not that as innocent as you seem. All right. Now that I'm watching this play out even more, I'm side eyeing you and I just don't view you the same. Right. And in this moment, obviously, when Katie first arrived, you can tell that there's tension. You can tell that Jen is standoffish with it all, which I didn't really care for either, but I understood because, in my opinion, again, I feel like your energy for her is because she's dragged you into it, not necessarily because she's, you know, not telling the truth in this instance. And there's a moment also where Katie decides, well, actually, early on, to pull out the receipts that she has, right? She brings an envelope with her and she shows Jen, listen, I pulled this information, and these people that administered this test, this man and this woman, they're both paid actors. Okay. Now let's catch the word actors. Okay. And we're going to hold that for a few more minutes from now. And that's a problem for me, right? So I'm like, okay, exactly. And that made sense as to why I was feeling what I was feeling in the last episode when that lady who administered the test was doing the most. I'm like, girl, it that's the case, then it very much did give acting. All right. Even if it gave untruthful mixed in there too, it certainly gave acting. So I'm like, okay, well, this is making some good sense what Katie is bringing to the table. And I would like to think, while we certainly must and can call Katie a liar, or if you want to cuten it up a little bit, not the most truthful person, okay? What people say has a little strange relationship with the truth sometimes. I don't think that she's by far any means an idiot. I don't think that she would jeopardize herself legally to present this information if it weren't some truth to it. You know, it's not like she created this or made this up. Like, this is public information that she's presenting as her exhibit A evidence. And I'm just like, how can you go wrong with that? So I wasn't too mad at it. And they have their little back and forth with one another. And you can tell that it's they're damaged, right? Um, Katie decides to leave the envelope with Jen. Now, I caught whatever the conversation might have been in that moment. You guys will have to let me know. I don't know if Katie gave her the envelope and was like, kind of do with this what you will, or if she specifically asked her to share it with the ladies. Whatever the case, somehow now or not somehow, the envelope is in Jen's possession. And they break away from each other. But even before they do, there's a quick moment where I just feel like it's unspoken words. It's unspoken hurt. Like, they're looking at each other in each other's eyes. Their eyes are both welling up with tears, and they're both hurt. You can tell that they're both upset. And of course, for their own reasons. I could break that down as to what I think it is, but who really knows, right? Because I'm not inside their head, whatever. And so they depart from one another, air and tension just as thick as it wants to be. And you can tell, again, they are super fractured at this point, and they both recognize that, and they're both not okay with that, but they both um are, just like I said, having their own reasons as to why it just is what it is in this moment, and it's not worth the fight for it right now. So let's go ahead to Gina, who goes to her ex Matt's house and sits and talks to um his fiance. And it's like, listen, I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm not really interested in what Gina has going on in general, because what Gina has going on in general is just uninteresting. I'm glad, however, though, that Matt is okay and that he made it through that heart attack of a situation. I can only imagine how scary that really was. But it's like, what else we got going on, Gina? At the end of the day, not really interested in the Travis stuff. Is there anything else outside of that? Okay, great. So Matt comes through. I'm gonna say to that, Matt is still a cutie. It's not lost on me what him and Gina have been through in the past seasons, but I'm hoping that he's, done the work or is doing the work to be a better man. And it's still okay for me to say he's cute. All right. I'm just looking at him. That's all. I don't need anything else from him. And so we'll go ahead and fast forward right on and move on. Then I'm like, not as being back to Heather and Tamara meeting for lunch. Like, I too soon. I don't want to see them again. We already just had to deal with this. But okay, fine. Shortly thereafter, Jen arrives. She decides that she's going to present the receipts to them and show them what Katie had shown to her. And so in that, Heather makes this joke. Even before that, I found it interesting how excuse me, this lady is Katie is preventing her defense, right, as to why she didn't lie about that. Now she's trying to back up with proof why you guys could potentially, we'll say, be wrong about this, right? And it's making sense. So for that, Heather, you don't want to dissect this information a little bit more. You don't want to really take a look at Sally. Heather had no interest. And it's like, why? Do you not have any interest? Because it's good evidence that will help her. You know what I'm saying? That will sway her in the direction of right. even just a little bit. Like, I was so over it. And then that silly comment in her confessional, oh, well, okay. Well, Terry's a doctor on TV. He plays a doctor, but he's also a doctor in real life. Girl, not the same thing. At the end of the day, as I mentioned a few minutes before, bringing it back now, did you not hear the word actors? Actors, not paid as in, oh, I'm just doing my job that I do for real in life and I'm getting paid for it. That's one thing. We ain't mad at that. It's the acting part for me that makes the test not credible even more. And the fact that these people were brought on here for this specific reason, even more suspect and fishy. But okay, Heather, play cute and coy like you don't know what's going on. Now we have in this same conversation, Jen and Tamara, who want to start hashing out the issues that they have with one another for the thousandth time. And Tamara says in there, which I'll never understand why people say that, in essence, she treats Jen the way that she does because she cares about her so much. So you treat people horribly because you care. That is not how it works. Even like in the reverse, I would like to think it should be you treat people who you love the best because you love them and you want them happy. So it's like it just again reminds me of abusive situations, unfortunately, that people go through on a regular basis. Like they have these people telling them and manipulating their mind that listen, I do this because I love you. That's not what love looks like. I've just got to call it a thing, right? So it's like on a maybe it's not a domesticated situation because Katie and excuse me, because Jen and Tamara are not in a relationship, but it's still very much giving like some type of level of I mean, I don't know if I should go there, but just of abuse. I'm sorry, allegedly, in my opinion. Like it's giving like don't do that. Don't treat her like that and then make her think that what you're doing to her is okay because it's not. And you've done it continuously, right? Everybody's going to hurt somebody at some point in time in life or get hurt or whatever, right? And we know there's much deeper and more serious levels of hurt. My thing is, even with some of those levels that are tolerable, right? Oh, you might say something that'll hurt somebody's feelings. I'm talking about on that kind of low basic level. You learn to do better. Okay. So even in these instances where Tamara has done and said these things to Jen, where have we seen her do better? Where? She keeps doing the same stuff. And I know I'm a broken record, but that's because she is too. She has not changed. And so it's like, we're supposed to believe you because why? And I'm just like, where are these people's moral compass, right? And you're sitting here, Jen, talking about Tamara's a wolf, or excuse me, Tamara's the boy who cried wolf. And I'm like, yeah, and you surely let that wolf right back in. So let's go ahead and move forward. Jen sucks it all in. She's loving it all at the end of the day. She's acting like she's so concerned. Like, don't do that again. Don't do that again. Don't do that to me, okay? Girl, why are you standing up, touching this lady and in her face? Like, again, we would be talking about nothing besides what Katie said. And that's it. That's all because we would have been over this situation. And so they decided they're going to hug and kiss it out literally. And I was like, okay, yikes. I'm over it. Jen, I'm good off of you. Now we have Emily, Gina, and Shannon who meet at some type of like little boutique or store. And sidebar, right? Because this is a party, so I am allowed to talk about the fashions. And even if it wasn't, I still would. But I'm like, really, y'all telling Gina that she looked cute? Okay, when you come to a party, you know you got to come dressed. And I'm just like, okay, I guess she wasn't at a party, but I'm making this point that what was cute about what she had on, y'all? I'm like, how? First of all, that jacket she has on has absolutely nothing to do with that jumpsuit or whatever it is that she has on under it. And furthermore, her hair is not even combed. Like she threw it back in like a little tucked situation, like not even a bun, which would have been perfect. I love buns. I love a good neat bun. Okay, now her hair wasn't looking as disheveled as it did when she had her open house, but I'm just like, this is cute, y'all. Okay, whatever. So even from there in that moment, I was like, you know what, y'all about to irritate me. I can tell. So of course they get the same conversation going as it relates to Katie and everything that happened. And Emily says it wasn't a setup because everyone asked their own questions. So she pretty much wasn't leading the ship, for lack of better words, as to what the lady should be asking. I said, okay, let's hold this right here. Let's hold this right here. So then why were you so hyped? You and Gina, that is, when Tamara arrived at your house and you told her Katie was going down in essence and it was going to be a pivotal moment. And then Gina chimes in and says, "Oh, don't you worry about Katie. We got her covered." Well, how come you didn't say, "Don't you worry about Katie and Gretchen"? Because that would have made more sense, right? That's fair. If that's the case, the situation is more geared towards the both of them. But why just Katie? Why was Katie singled out in that? Furthermore, how would you know that it was going to be a pivotal moment? How? How, Sway? How? Like, how did you know? How were you able to guarantee Tamara in that moment that Katie was going down? I mean, I just want to know. We can DJ scratch the record and bring the music to a halt to hear the answer. How? Let's even get Shakespearean with y'all with it, y'all. How? Oh, how? How, I ask, would thine have known what the fire burning deeply and brimming within would be for thine, thee, Katie, the Montague. Okay, whatever. I can't. So the point is, how would you have known? That just made absolutely no sense to me. And I said, see, y'all slip is starting to show even more. Okay. Even more. You knew it was going to be a bad day for Katie, but yet and still, you didn't know what the questions were that the ladies asked. And oh, this lie detector test was so credible and all the things. Furthermore, let's even rewind back to the reason in that episode as to why you had the lie detector test present in the first place. Did it have anything to do with Katie? Oh, all right. And you figured, though the ladies had every idea about what was going on at that point in time, that they weren't going to ask questions about it on the test. Okay. I'm just like, listen, while we're on the subject of lies and liars, it's the lies for me. But okay. So eventually we have Emily. They switch the subject because Luke ends up calling her. And it's not funny, but it's the idea for me that Luke was like, "Look, I'm about to walk this dog, lady. I ain't got time for your tears and all of that. You doing too much. You telling me no, listen, I'm about to do it anyway. So what else we got going on? I'm walking this dog." And I'm just like, well, who's home with Luke anyway? like, who's the person to stop Luke from walking the dog? And I mean, well, he thinks he's just going to walk out on his own. So that leads her into the conversation and just upset of everything that they've had going on to figure that out. Now we have Katie and her husband at their home. They are also talking about the situation. She says that Jen is protecting Gretchen. And talkative, shout out to you, DJ, shout out, because I think you said the same thing in your comments in the last video, to where I want to say that, well, you impliedly said it, that Ryan and Slade, I think, were friends for quite a while. So it just would make sense, right? That Jen would be protecting Gretchen. And she said their hate for Tamara runs deeper than telling the truth. Another thing that makes sense. So now we have the husband who shares his screenshots of his phone calls that he's had with Slade. And it's like, granted, it might have shown, the outgoing calls more so to Slade in that particular log, but it was still the point that they were having conversations, right? We then get the additional screenshot where Katie's husband texts the words insane. I'll try calling in a bit. Spoke to Katie, try me back. And it's like, well, what's insane? What's going on? Right? Get your wheel spinning and makes you think. Then did you guys notice the partial screenshot of, I think it was probably maybe some type of social media page that had Tamara's name on it. And if you didn't see it, definitely go back, rewind, pause, and you'll see it in his screenshot of his phone. And so when you lump all of that together, like what most likely would we get? I mean, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, could it possibly be this situation that's at issue now with Slade and Gretchen low key on Tamara that night? And maybe not, right? Maybe not. It could have been something else, I guess. But we can still say it could possibly sway that way, right? The pendulum could start swinging a little bit, even with a quick blow that way, right? Because it's like, why are two grown men sitting here having a conversation about Tamara? Furthermore, all this makes sense because Gretchen and Slade, especially Slade, have every reason individually and collectively to despise Tamara. So why wouldn't they keep the mess going? Why wouldn't, like it was said, they be going around trying to create this narrative amongst their friends that, hey, you should hop on the hate train with us because she's a horrible person? Next text, and this was the one that did it for me. Okay. that Katie's husband shared said Katie finally fought back. Gretchen and Katie stayed aligned. Interesting. Okay, do I need to say more? Stayed aligned in what? I mean, what do they need to stay aligned for? Well, I mean, I don't understand. And so, Gretchen, does this solidify the fact that not it's not the issue that, or it's not that Katie lied on you per se, even if she is a liar, not in this instance, it's not that she lied on you per se, but could it be that with this statement that was so horrible, you're just mad because she didn't stick to the plan? Is that what it really is at the end of the day? I mean, we don't know, but we got to consider all the avenues, right? And now, Katie, again, though, I asked, why would you go along with that plan? like why? Okay. And I get it, right? I'm with y'all because I know you're gonna say, because she's a liar. It's what she does. Okay, okay, okay. I got you. And y'all are right on that, allegedly. But let me say, I'm going to go out on the limb and say that even liars tell the truth sometimes. And this just makes sense to me. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. At this point, it does. Again, subject to change, right? And I'm mainly going off of the fact that they have receipts. We're not just going off of what Katie is saying alone, they have receipts. So I just want to know from you guys, and y'all have to let me know on the dance floor, like, do y'all find Katie's husband to be credible? I mean, because the man was flowing like milk and honey with his stories. I ain't hear a stutter, a mutter, or nothing, right? Now, we know there's people that can be cool, calm, and collected about how they present with their lies. So that's a thing too. But I'm just saying, like, he seems kind of low key and maybe not with the drama and the craps of it all. But again, one would say, well, then why would he be married to a liar? Well, technically, maybe he didn't know that before you met her, but maybe it's a liar amongst liars marrying each other. Maybe not, So I just want to know. I'm curious to know what you guys think. And so Katie gets emotional and she says she misses her friend Jen, but it just doesn't seem like they'll be able to come back from this. I definitely had a little chuckle when she first said it, when her husband was looking at her like, what? And she's like, I know, because he's probably like, how can you miss that? Like, this girl definitely has you out here, looking for a lifeline and she's not throwing you one. And I'll say at the same time, Katie, this should help you to have a better understanding as to why Shannon won't fool with you. Okay? Because some things run too deep, and what you did to Shannon was dead wrong. We cannot ever forget that. So just let Shannon be. All right. I know you think about rekindling with her, thinking y'all, I don't know about that. And you just let her do her own thing. Right. And I felt like this was kind of a quick turnaround of a situation for you in terms of reaping what you sow, because it's like, well, look what you did to Shannon, but now you're not liking how it feels when your friend is doing something that's hurtful to you, which is, as you would say, just leaving you out to hang high and dry, right? So, anyways, we now have the ladies who are hanging out and having a beach day. Jen decided that she wasn't going to invite Katie. And I said, oh, wow. Wow. You're not going to invite Katie. Wow. And I said the wow is not because maybe it makes sense that it's just not a good time with the ladies and Katie being together because there's so much tension and the smoke is in the air that needs to clear. But the wow is because you totally like switched up on your good friend, Jen, just to be down with the two fake crew. Like, that's what we're doing now. I felt like this episode spoke volumes to me, you guys. I really do. But I'll get to that in a second. And I just said, okay, Jen, I see you, but go ahead and enjoy yourself until you're on the chopping block again. Because remember, these same people that you riding for right now was the same people, and you even made a joke about it at the table once y'all sat down about how you're on a budget. They was talking about your funds and talking about your coin. And remember, you're dressing your price tags and seeing you shopping in this store and you know you can't afford it and all the things. Those people, the ones talking about your relationship and everything, and your man's alleged almost involvement or whatever with the FBI. Like, no, these people. So that's who you're writing for? Cool. Yeah, I'm totally good off Jen, like I said. Okay, she can leave my party right now and exit stage left. You know what I'm saying? How about that? Anyways, and I said also, Heather, the same way you felt relieved Katie wasn't invited and decided to throw shade in your confessional, talking about, well, who's going to be here to record Shannon's meltdown, is the same way you need to be throwing shade at your friend Tamra and then some. But we ain't going to talk about that. So At some point, you have uh Tamra, she invites Joe again. And I'm just like, so I'm saying a leopard, y'all. A leopard never changes. It's you finish the rest. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, here we go. So I thought that was so whack to see her pull up again. I'm like, girl, this is not it. What don't you understand about this is not a good look for you, but girl, go off. And I love the volleyball moment only because not of what they were doing, but it was just kind of like a throwback deja vu moment for me. I absolutely love volleyball growing up. I played junior varsity, then varsity, and I was good at it and very good at it to the point where I was offered like a college camp my first year of college, but I kind of chickened out and got cold feet, and that was all she wrote. So, anyways, once the game is done, the ladies sit down at the table and they decide they're going to go around and share good news that they've had. And of course, we get to Jen, and her good news involved the fact that she's pretty much being desperate all over again for Tamara's validation and friendship, and that they're great. And here's where I give Tamara a slight pass that I really didn't see myself ever having to give, but so be it, right? Life is funny like that. And I, again, it's still in my mind that, listen, if I've got an apology still forthcoming for her when this is all said and done, I will give her that. Still don't mean I'm gonna like her, but I'm just saying I know how to do right when I need to do right. So once they get to Tamara's part, or Tamara and Gretchen, somehow Gretchen switches up the conversation by saying something to the tune of, "Oh, well, I don't know if she said something about them talking, right? Talking again about things." And they bring up the whole, did you go to the hospital that night? And Gretchen said that she misspoke. And Tamara was like, no, you lied. You didn't misspeak. She's saying this on her confession. She's like, you didn't misspeak. You didn't misspoke, whatever it is. You lied. And I'm like, yeah, Tamara, she absolutely did. And I'm with you on that. She absolutely, like, that's like, you misspoke. Let's listen. Because I don't feel she misspoke either, y'all. I'm sorry. And you can tell me how you feel. Because my thing is this: how do you misspeak on going to a whole hospital or not? How? Like, I just think, if anything, you could have possibly been doing this talking behind the scene about how you went to the hospital and all that other stuff, and you didn't expect it to grow these legs that it did. You thought it was just going to be confined in your little group, and it got out, albeit through Katie, sure, but it still got out. That's your fault for opening your mouth. Okay. You knew you were at risk. You got a bunch of people sitting around you, and you're going to trust that what you're saying to them might stay with them. I don't give a crap who they are. When you open your mouth, you run that risk for it to spread out, get out, do whatever it's going to do. So that's on you. But let's even go back to this hospital situation, right? Where you could have possibly misspoke on it. When you go to a hospital, you have to check in, you sit in the waiting room, you have your insurance, which gets ran. They let you know if you got a copay or not. Hopefully you don't. You got that good insurance. You go back to a room, you speak with doctors, nurses, PAs, whomever. You maybe get admitted, change into a gown, all of that, right? And in this instance, potentially get a whole needle for blood work. But you misspoke on all that? You would misspeak as to say that you wouldn't remember all of that happening. That's very clear cut. You know if you went to a hospital or not, point blank into the motherfucking period. Okay? So I'm just like, but we're going to focus on Katie being the only liar in the group. Okay. So from there, they decide that they're going to step off Tamara and Gretchen to have a one on one conversation. So they get into it, and Gretchen asks Tamara about Joe coming, why she brought her. Tamara acts like there's no calculation or ill intent behind bringing Joe. And I'm like, okay, girl, okay, child, if you say so. But again, I say we're going to focus on Katie being the only liar in the group. Gotcha. And they try to hash out their differences by going back and forth. At the end of the day, we'll wrap that up by saying that they're both delusional in their makeup, because it seems to me their hate runs just too deep as far as I'm concerned. And I feel like they should recognize that and get to a civilized place where they're just like, listen, we'll be around each other. We'll try to move forward where it's not no beef and we're throwing shade or whatever. But don't call me after this. Don't text me. No, we're not going out to lunch. No, we're not going to be talking on the phone. But I'll see you when it's time to record and we'll talk then. And it's all good. Like, why can't y'all do that, right? Y'all really want to act like, oh, you're going to try to make it work from here. So Tamra decides to get close to Gretchen and hold her hand, right? And she says they're pretty much going to have a pact moving forward, for lack of better words. And I said, sidebar. I thought that when you have a serious moment, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, when you have a serious moment with someone and you have on shades, aren't you supposed to take your shades off so you can look each other in the eye to make that like more official and more genuine in meaning? I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm just saying. So, anyways, they decide that they're going to skip off together like two numbnuts to show that they've made up. Or better yet, like Shannon says in her confessional, like two 5-year olds, right? And Shannon says also in her confessional that she's been there and done that. Like she's seen this movie play out, whatever Tamara and Gretchen have going on in this moment before. So she knows how it goes. And again, this plays into Tamara doing whatever she needs to do, in my opinion, this makeup with Gretchen to rack up as many people as she can for her own selfish reasons of what she's going through. Say whatever you want to say. Okay. Shannon claims she's still not going to do it anymore with Tamara. And while I'm proud of the strides that Shannon has made so far, I'm just like, we'll see. I sure hope so, right? Because Jen was on that type of time too. And her and Tamara haven't even been friends as long as you and Tamara have. But Shannon's daughter apparently had some situation of a breakup that was pretty hurtful. Shannon said, she had called her crying, and so she flew in for some moral support. And after her daughter arrives, because she said, I decided to invite her here, which I thought was a great idea. So after her daughter arrives, the ladies decided, in an effort to make her feel better about what was going on, they were going to share their worst breakup stories. And I thought that was a really cute moment, cute touch. And then I said, of all the stories, why was Tamara's the most dark? And I really don't need to ask that question, right? I know the answer to my own question. I said, see, it shows that right from the start, you had some serious issues going on because you would be the one to get a knife and slice up your ex's jacket. Like, girl, that says so much, but we ain't even going to do it. We ain't got the time. I need to wrap this up. And anyway, so the episode ends with Gretchen talking about the gang is back again. The gang is back again. And it made my stomach turn because I'm just like, yeah, but I don't want to see this gang. All right. I don't. And it was a moment, as I told you guys before, that spoke volumes to me because I feel like it was here where it seemed like the plan that was in motion. Because I forgot to mention too, Katie did make it a point when she met with Jen and showed her those receipts to tell her, listen, I feel like it was a setup by Emily and Gina. Facts. I'm sorry with it. And so it shows that that plan, it carried out, right? So whatever needed to be done, however, by whomever, was successful. And I just think that's really sad. I do. I don't feel like Katie deserved that. I really don't, liar or not. I think that was way too much for what we've seen orchestrated and cultivated within this group. They went way too far with that. Right. And so, as quickly as I was like, I don't want to see y'all moving forward. No thanks. I was like, okay, well, maybe I do. Because then we got the previews of what's to come. And I was like, all right, now we are in for a treat. Okay. We are in for a treat. I said, not them needing the liar back for clarity. Is that what Emily said out her mouth? And then I said, not Tamara getting all up in Gretchen's face. Oh, I thought y'all was good. I thought you like what? I mean, we knew that wasn't gonna last, but I'm just saying. I mean, do y'all have to make us, you know, just like, come on. I can't even find the words. It's just like this is a bunch of mess. Or just all the drama that's about to go down, and I am here for it. I said, not Gina crying, girl, what you crying for? So I'm just excited to see what's going to go on, what's going to go down. But at this time, y'all, the music is on, the dance floor is lit. Don't be a prude and hold up the wall. I need to know what you guys think. Did you think this was a good episode? Um, Are you finding Katie's credibility in this situation to actually be there and present, to be a real thing? I actually saw, and that's not like me because I really don't come across these things, but I did. It came up in my feed, just like this ET interview that Katie did. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. I think it's about maybe 20 minutes long or something. And she had me like the first 3 minutes. And this is before I had a chance to see the episode. So it was a clip. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. But anywho, you guys, let me know what you think, please. And to my shout outs for my new subbies, I am so sorry again. I'm not good at looking or really just being able to officially tell who subscribed when. I'm sure there's a way, I just don't know. So hopefully moving forward, if you do subscribe and become a part of my VIP party guest list, do me a favor and just hop on the dance floor right quick and just be like, yo, I'm here, I'm new subscriber, new dance floor, break dance, or whatever it is, because I definitely want to be able to shout you out and show my appreciation. But even for those of you who's like, I don't need all that, I don't want all that, not interested in all that, just know that it is truly appreciated. To my dance floor folks, Marion Folly, I'm probably saying that wrong, I thought about, is it Foley or Folly? Sandy Jean Baptiste, my girl. Y'all, Sandy's been rocking with me for a while. Hadn't seen her in a minute, so it's definitely good to see her again. Talkative TV Addict, another one. Absolutely adore. She always has so much to say, you guys, that is so substantive and good. Like, I'm not talking about a bunch of fluff. I'm talking about a bunch of juiciness and goodness and all the things that'll make you think. So check out her comments sometimes. To Noah Bangle, 7071. What is going on? Thank you so much for your comment. To Spencer, my originally party king, I was looking for you. Those of you know that I was. Definitely had my shout out to you and hadn't seen you a couple of videos, so it was so good to see you when you finally showed up. I remember I was out with my family and it kind of came up in my phone to comment. I was like, oh my gosh, it's Spencer, you guys. And they're looking at me like, what? So good to see you. Colleen 72 Hamilton, girl, we see each other. You already know. Thank you so much. And to Bravado. Oh, my bravado. Listen, we're going to be back together again with the way we think, okay? We are, I promise you. And we're not totally far off from one another. We're just not completely on the same page, and that's okay. But you know, I always appreciate your honesty. So keep it coming for sure, okay? You probably going to tell me about myself in this video too, and I'm here for everything you have to say, all right? So, you guys, I appreciate you again. I hope that this video found you in good spirits. And if it didn't, I hope that I was able to say something to bring a little smile to your face. At the same time, I'm all in with this, y'all, and I cannot wait. I felt like next week's episode couldn't come soon enough. Now, granted, we might just get a filler because they gave us too much juice, but we'll see. I'm here for it, okay? So until then, y'all know I'll be back all over next week to do it all over again. So y'all stay up, y'all stay blessed, and I'm out. Peace.